I know the number of times my wife Joyce has asked me to do something as simple as, would you please take out the garbage? And I did. I took it out as far as the front steps, or or just as far so that it was technically out. Maybe you're like that. Luckily, I'm married to a very forgiving woman. How many times in my life have I done just the bare minimum of what she's asked? How many times in our own faith life or personal life have we just done the bare minimum just to keep someone or something, or we think God at least, happy? Our scripture lesson today kind of touches on that. The disciples ask Jesus about their faith, and he has kind of a reply that's not necessarily so easy to hear, and it might teach us something. From Luke chapter 17, the apostles said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." And the Lord replied, "If you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, 'Be rooted and planted in the sea,' and it would obey you." Let's stop here for just a second. He's chiding them and making fun of them, because what he's saying is, your seed, your faith is so small you can hardly see it. It's like a grain of sand. And then he continues with the story. It's a story of contrasts. And he uses the example of slaves doing what they're told. He says, "Who among you would say to your slave who's just come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, 'Oh, come here at once and take your place at the table'? Would you rather not say to him, 'Prepare supper for me, put on your apron and serve me while I eat and drink, and later you may eat and drink'? Do you thank your slave for doing what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, 'We are worthless slaves. We've only done what we ought to have done.'" This kind of minimal thinking, doing just the bare bones of what I must, is very much a part of a relationship where we think we're going to do the bare minimum, just exactly what we have to get into heaven or keep God happy or whatever, or other people. It's a little bit like the way sometimes I treat people around me. Just doing exactly what I was asked to and nothing more. But Jesus Christ, to us, is so much more than just the bare minimum. He's given himself fully and finally for us. That's what God is to us when we talk about our cup running over. And so we're ordered, or rather asked, or rather given the example in Jesus of the one who goes far beyond what is asked. And so we live our lives the same way. Consider this week going beyond that which is only asked. Being generous in your love, being generous in your financial giving, being generous in your care for others, being generous because God has been generous to you. May God bless your week.